that means is first up, we have Savannah Sanchez. So Savannah is one of the most sought after creative producers for Meta and TikTok ads and is one of North America's top TikTok creative exchange partners. Savannah and her team have worked with over 200 brands in 2024 alone, producing top performing ads for household names like Fabletics, Athletic Greens, Dr. Squatch, just to name a few. But Savannah, welcome to the party. How you feeling?
Feeling amazing. These are my favorite events. I'm so excited to be here. Thanks again for having me.
My heart is so warm. Everybody show love in the chat. I'm going to step out. Savannah's going to step in and absolutely crush it, Savannah. I'm excited to learn a ton. Talk soon.
Amazing. Alrighty, I'm going to share my screen. Someone yell if you can't see it, but hopefully you guys can all see this. Let's get right into it. Hello, Motion attendees. If you don't know me, my name is Savannah Sanchez, also known online as the Social Savannah. I've been creating UGC ads for brands the last 5 years. I have a team of 40 creators on my team and 10 editors. And last year we made ads for over 200 brands, including some of the top names on Meta and TikTok, like Fabletics, Athletic Greens, Dr. Squatch, just to name a few. So I wanted to start out with my top 24 ad hooks for January 2025. So this is what I've been testing for my clients, and these are the ones that have performed best. If you can't take a screenshot or don't want to write these down super fast, don't worry. I am going to email this deck out next week to my newsletter subscribers. So at the bottom of this deck, I put my website there so that you can go and sign up at the bottom of my website so that you don't have to scribble everything down, but definitely do take a screenshot if you can, because this is what's performing the best right now. Another format that I've been testing over the last couple of weeks is called ad inception, is what I'm calling it. So essentially it's an ad inside an ad. So if I play this first example, it's POV. You can't escape Denney ads. So what we did is we filmed scrolling through ads on a phone and then filmed that phone so that it's an ad inside of an ad, essentially. And showing these type of ads have been really effective and has been really great at stopping the scroll. I love the end of this ad too, because then we swipe to the other tab to get to the website, as you can see right here. So this ad format has performed really well and something I'm testing for a lot of clients right now. Another ad we made is it's just another ad for Loop earplugs. After seeing these ads over and over again, this brand finally got me, and we even showed an example of one of our ads on there. And we're so excited that we gave it a try. And then the creator explains why she's happy that she listened to the ads and ended up purchasing. So this format's working really well. I'm calling it ad inception, and something that I think you should definitely test next month. In terms of what's working in 2025, eye-catching hooks is still the #1 focus. On this ad, we wrote on a cake how to make your Instagram famous. So writing with food is something that is definitely eye-catching. Another thing that we're testing is like this handwriting font right here. So just playing with different text treatments to stop the scroll. I'm still primarily using TikTok fonts, but that is something that we're starting to play with more in 2025, is more of like handwriting, more interesting things for that initial text. Stop motion is still a very effective ad format for the hook. So that's something that we incorporate in a lot of our ads. And last but not least, ASMR. ASMR ads have been working well for years for my clients and something that continues to perform well. Usually it has no music, no voiceover. It's just the audio of opening the cups, frothing the milk, putting the ice in. People love to stop and watch these ads. We see these ads have extremely high watch times and usually great performance. So ASMR is something I'm definitely bringing into 2025. Another big thing for 2025 is really leaning into authenticity and relatability in the AI era where all ads end up looking the same or robotic, literally. I think going back to basics and being more authentic is what's going to stand out from the rest of the brands on Meta. So for instance, for this concept with our creator, she's going to match her outfit to the perfume. So something a little bit unexpected. For this one, it's a car chat. We love car chat ads. It just looks so authentic, as if the creator just decided to start filming in her car and talk about her favorite product. So that's a format we're bringing into 2025. Another big theme in our ads is about self-improvement. And this one, we're saying she's becoming the mom she's always wanted to be. She's improving her routines. She's becoming her authentic self. So people want to relate to more authenticity, like wholehearted content. And last but not least, testimonials. So a green screen testimonial talking about a product that you truly love and your experience with it. As you can see in this example, she's talking about the things she's excited to try out as a new mom. These type of ads are still what converts because it seems like it's just a friend talking to someone about a product or brand that they actually love and helps them out. So while other agencies or brands may be leaning into AI a bit more, I would say I'm leaning the opposite way. We're trying to get more authentic, more relatable stories, and all that good stuff. Another thing for 2025, we're really testing scroll stopping edits. So on this one, you can see in the beginning, we did like a search bar of like ways to start losing weight at home. And she says, if you're searching for this, you need to try this. Another fun effect we're playing with is like this gambling scroll emoji effect to show the different emotions you have when you're using the product. Another fun effect we're using is like this multiple choice. Want your curls to look like this? Yes, no, pick yours. So fun edits like that are really working well for hooks. This is also a great edit we did. We made it into triplets. So utilizing fun transitions or editing to catch the eye in the first second is really the key. So really focused on how we can make the ads even more scroll stopping and different than everything else on the feed. Last but not least, I wanted to leave you with my top 8 ad creation principles for 2025. This is what I go through with all of my clients on a weekly basis in terms of coming up with what concepts we're going to shoot with the creators this week, how I'm briefing my editors into how we want to edit it, and then the different formats that I'm seeing work well. So feel free to give this a screenshot. Like I said, I'm also going to email this out to my newsletter subscribers, but these are the top 8 principles. It's really just what's been tried and true, and leaning into going back to basics, focused on good marketing, understanding your customer, testing different iterations and variations to see what works with your customers. All righty, I will pass it back to Evan. Thanks so much, guys. And if you want to connect with me, here is all my information to get in touch.
Savannah, all gas, no brakes, no gatekeeping, everything served up on a platter. Thank you. That was incredible. That was freaking incredible.
Thanks, guys.
The one thing I'm curious about, Savannah, is like talking all about authenticity. Is there anything specific you're asking your creators to do this year just to make sure their content looks more, let's call it like real?
You know, I've been working with some of the same creators for years now. Like I've built my team around bringing on creators one by one and training them myself. And a lot of the creators that I'm working with are ones that I've worked with and trained with for years. And they're really masters at like really acting is essentially what it is, like authentic storytelling, looking like it's not an ad. And so I would say I'm just really relying on my like solid creator team, the ones that have proven that they can tell a story. Sometimes when you're testing out new creators, it's hard to get them to not look like they're reading off a script. So finding those creators that can tell an authentic story, those are gold and you got to hold on to them.
Makes a ton of sense. Make a ton of sense. Everybody, like Savannah said, she's going to be sharing this out in her newsletter. So be sure to tap in. She'll share information in the chat again. But Savannah, thank you so much for dropping the heat so quickly. Everybody show love in the chat. Round of applause, all the emojis, all the love.
Thanks, guys. I'll be in the chat to answer any questions.
Hey, I love it. I love it. I love it. Y'all, we want to keep the momentum going though. So next up, we have the one, the only Dara Denney. If you don't know Dara, trust me, you're going to want to. She's one of DTC's top performance creative consultants, as well as being Motion's very own chief evangelist. So let's welcome her to the stage. Dara, welcome to the party.
Hey, Evan. Super happy to be here. Yeah, I love these sessions that we do, and it is always such an honor to go up on stage with you.
This is so fun. Dara, drop the heat. I'm going to drop out. I might see you in a second, though. If I come in, absolutely give the people what they want.
Yeah. Amazing. Hey, everyone. I am super excited to jam with you today. And I actually wanted to do something a little different. Savannah just showed you about 20 different ad ideas. And I actually just want to show you one of the top performing creatives that I worked on last year. And perhaps more importantly, how we got there, because it was absolutely a creative, collaborative process. Now, I'm hoping that in the age of having to develop more creative volume, this is going to inspire you to think about how to make more creative without necessarily sacrificing on quality. Now, you know how I like to start these. This was one creative test that we ran, and one of these ads ended up being our top performer for several months, spending well over $2 million and generating over $6 million in revenue. But actually, before you decide, I want to show you the original. So we had actually ran this creative for a few months previously, and it wasn't by any means the top performing banger creative that we wanted, but it was doing really, really well. So we decided to do a messaging test, and one of these ended up being the winner. So out of A, B, C, or D, or E, which one of these do you think was the winner? Go ahead and put your answers in chat. I'm seeing a lot of C's, few D's, B's, E's. 3? I don't know where the 3 came from. Okay, seeing a lot of different answers in here. No A's, interestingly enough. Now, if you answered D, you were absolutely correct. This is the one that ended up being the winner for us. Now, what I think is actually interesting is this was actually what I would call a bit of a super iteration, right? When we were thinking about the type of messaging that we wanted to test, we actually borrowed quite a bit from a lot of the great UGC that we had been running inside of the ad account. This ad creative was actually developed by the agency AdCreate, who had been working with us. And even though the text overlay right here says, "Get ready with me for my meeting," in the voiceover, she actually says, "Hey, I got a meeting in about 2 to 3 minutes." And it gave us this idea for the 5-minute routine. Now, I will say too, what's really interesting about this is we did actually test the 2-minute makeup routine, but it was the 5-minute makeup routine that continued to win again and again. And when we look at all of the other variations that we were testing as well, we were still borrowing from other UGC. But what's really interesting about this one right here, the TikTok viral beauty routine is something that we saw worked really, really well and had great sentiment inside of UGC, but not as well inside of this particular creative test. Now, what I think is really interesting in retrospect when looking at this creative, right? What ultimately ended up winning for us was the one that had the most scalable messaging. Now, this is a slide that I have showed inside of Motion talks before, but when thinking about where we had started with the $12 each, save 64, this is really super offer based. But as we go up, we can actually see that this type of messaging was going to appeal to people more and more. And really the 5-minute makeup routine is something that really had that most scalable language. But I do want to mention something, it's not just about the messaging, why this specific ad creative worked. And the reason why is because we saw that actually a lot of these ended up being pretty scalable and having really great performance. And I don't mean to call you out, Sarah Levinger. I know you are back on stage. And I saw this tweet you put out a few days ago. Format selection is not a strategy. I hear you loud and clear. I absolutely agree. But I think that some formats make the brain really happy. And I think that in this case, especially with the grid format, this is something that our brains actually find really psychologically pleasing. And this is something that we did a lot in the print era, right? And I'm loving how we're bringing the grid format to life, even in the modern era, and how different it looks. And this is actually one of my favorites I've seen recently. And I know this might be an unpopular opinion, but when it comes to toast, I'm a little bit more on the bird side. This is what I like a lot. So when actually thinking back to this ad creative, right, the 5-minute makeup routine, we have that psychologically pleasing grid layout. something that was interesting for me when I was actually doing research on why grids are so appealing to us. It's actually because when we use them, our eyes actually tend to trail in either a Z or an F format. So by even just leaning into this type of ad format or visual format, you are more likely to actually have people looking at more facets of your design because of how their eyes are trailing. Now, something I'm really excited about for 2025 is actually the use of a grid format inside of videos. And this is something that we've also been testing out, even just as hooks. This is actually one of the formats that Meta themselves has said is working really, really well, not only on organic Reels, but also on Reels ads in general. Now, I think that any brand can lean into this type of format. Even though this one down here really scares me, the XL format, it actually ended up running for them for over 200 days. But I think that this is something that, it doesn't have to be as cut and dry as, the one that I showed you or some of the other ones, but there can be a little bit of magic here with this type of ad format. And that's it. Thank you so much, Evan, for bringing me up here today. And I actually have a little guest to, what's up?
What just happened? Oh my goodness.
I know, right?
I think everyone's in for a little treat in a second too. So we'll make the trio come to life here. But Dara, that was incredible.
Yeah. Thank you. I already see Anna saying it was too short. Come on, we have so much heat to pack today. Just want to, come in, show you guys something I worked on. I don't get to share too much of the ad creative that I've collaborated on with teams. So I was really excited to be able to do that today.
I love it. Dara, only question that comes to mind for me here is everyone's talking about AI right now. Could you use AI in any way to help come up with some of these iterations?
Yeah, so actually something that I did is you'll notice that with the messaging inspiration, I wasn't taking the exact messaging formats from these UGC ads and putting them onto the statics. I did have AI help clean it up a little bit, and especially for getting specific word counts. Actually, one of the things that I notice a lot with messaging is sometimes people will they'll be too verbose, they'll use too many words. So I had a really strict word limit for what I wanted to use. So I took all of the top performing messaging points that we had seen across images, across UGC, and I put it into ChatGPT, and I was like, all right, let's make sure we have a word cap of about 10, and that was really helpful for that. So
incredible. Dara, you're the best. Everybody, show some love in the chat. We know we love Dara, so let's show some love. Amazing.
Very hot.
Very sneaking up on stage, but I think that's perfect timing. Dara, I'll see you in a second for sure. Really appreciate it. Everyone loves it. Thank you. But everybody, we're 2 people in. How we feeling so far? Because for this next one, you already got the sneak peek in 2 different ways, on the share screen and in Dara's screen. But let's get ready for this one. So Mr. Ugly Ads himself, founder of Building Ads with Barry, he's managed and overseen more than $600 million in ad spend, and is kicking off his course on February 3rd. So go check that out. Welcome Barry Hott to the stage, y'all.
Thanks. Good to be here. Thank you, Evan. Good to be in the same building as you and Dara. Thank you for having us graciously here in this gray void where I am here with nothing interesting in the background. However, I do have a little prop, $10,000 cash. Just to get, Dara's taking it. Dara
I walked into that room and it's like, what in the heck is how is Barry just balling like this? But Barry, I think we got to drop the gems for the people now. So I'm going to step out. You're going to do your thing and I'll see you in a bit. Okay.
Yeah. Did I share my screen? Yeah. I should have done the better tech check. I'll share my screen here. Can you all see that? Perfect. So yeah, I'm Barry Hott. Let's dig in. We can talk a little bit about me. I'm a growth marketing advertiser, consultant. I own a piece of AdCrate. Thank you, Dara, for the shout out to AdCrate. It's adcrate.co. I've personally spent hundreds of millions of dollars on ad spend since going back to 2008. I have also studied literally billions of dollars in ad spend over the years. I've been doing this for a long time. I am known for making ugly ads, but today I'm actually going to be talking about how we need to just make ads. So a slightly different hat here because that's what we're talking about today. Just make ads. Yes, you. Literally all, I think how many people are in here? Over 1,000 people are in here. Literally every single one of you can make an ad. Now, some of you, it's your job to make ads. So for you, you're like, yeah, Barry, I already do. Great. Thank you for your service. I appreciate you. Keep doing it. But for those of you, CEOs, founders, CMOs, head of growth, interns, I don't care. You can do this. So that's what we're going to dig into here. I'm going to try and be conscious of the clock. Someone shout at me if I'm taking too long. So first, the thing that we know that works well with ugly ads is authentic and relatable content. That's what works well, and it's going to continue to work well. Ads are not going to be getting prettier. That's not happening anytime soon. People have made that prediction for years. There are ways in which you can make your ads pretty. I'm not saying go make the ugliest ad in the world, but please be mindful. Like, you don't have to go and make the thing that's as pretty as like your marketing brain wants, okay? For the most part, almost everyone here is not advertising to marketers or to designers. If you are advertising to marketers or designers, maybe make some pretty stuff, but even then, you should still make uglier stuff. But really the key is making stuff authentically, making stuff that people want and expect to see, and people want authentic content. They want real experiences, and the thing they don't want is ads. They don't want to, they can sniff it out subconsciously. As soon as your ad starts to get into frame and people can sniff out that it looks or feels too much like an ad, they are going to skip it. That's it. You've lost the game. So your job is to get that attention and keep that attention. And if you can't even get that attention in the first place, you've lost. So a big reason to make ugly ads is just to get that attention in the first place so you don't lose a giant chunk of your potential audience. So start there. The best person who can make this content literally is you. You have a phone. You have a phone. You have probably some sort of a camera. You have the ability to speak. You have Canva. You have CapCut. You have any number of tools. Descript. Big shout out to Descript. I love using Descript. You can edit video like it's a Word doc. It's incredible. Use any of these tools to make stuff. Literally, anyone in your company can do this and probably should do this, literally from the intern to the CEO. And anything that you can do to make ads will help you be better and more comfortable with the principles, challenges, decisions that go into making ads work. Now, a lot of people are like, Barry, I don't have time for this. Barry, that's not my job. Okay, well, is this the best use of my time? I think that's a reasonable question, but absolutely it is. Yes, it is. It is worth your time. Is this the best use of my time? What use of your time has a higher potential return on investment? Please comment and tell me right now what has a higher potential return on investment than making a scalable ad. Please. All right. I'm interested to see if anyone says anything. Yeah, close those deals. Sure. Literally almost anyone in the org who has a good perspective, who has a story to tell, or can come up with a story to tell, can make something that is worthwhile that can be used in ads. It is cheap, it is quick, and it is relatable. I have seen this work time and time again. As someone who has been in lots of ads, I'm not saying I expect you to be a professional star of ads. That's not the goal. It's who cares? The point is to make stuff, and you don't even have to be in the ad yourself with your face or whatever if you're shy or you don't want to be in there. I'm not saying you have to do that, and I will show you some examples of that in a little bit. In order to do this, don't just make stuff. First of all, don't just make stuff. Make stuff that looks and feels like the stuff that your audience consumes. Not what you consume, but what your broader audience consumes. And that's an important differentiator. And that's like, so many marketers I see, they make the stuff that they think like they want, they think other marketers want, but like that's not what scales and that's not what works. So I want you to study the content that your audience consumes, not just what marketers like. And then go shoot stuff on your phone. Don't worry about getting a fancy camera. Please don't worry about perfect lighting, although Savannah probably hates me for saying that and probably completely disagrees. But that's okay. She can, and total respect. I'm not saying I'm right and she's wrong. I'm not. But like, don't worry about that stuff. And I think what you'll also find is when you do study the content that your audience consumes, in so many realms, the lighting isn't perfect, the camera angle isn't perfect. Like, all of these things are imperfect. Now, to Savannah's point there, the good lighting can matter in some categories. For sure, if that's what the content that your audience is consuming looks like that, then please shoot like that. Absolutely. So definitely go and shoot the stuff that looks like what your audience is looking at. Like I said, edit in CapCut, Descript, Canva. Use text overlays. You can literally go and make something in TikTok while it still exists and use like text overlay functions from in there. You can use text overlay functions from Instagram to make it look like a real Instagram post, like, and then pull it back. Like, it's so easy to do. And yes, you can even do this for a luxury brand. Some people always ask me, like, should luxury brands can't have ugly ads, right? No, they can. But you have to be more conscious of things like the setting or what you're wearing or accessories, right? You can spice up an ugly ad and make it luxury by making it truly luxury, featuring fancy watches, stage it in a private jet or in a fancy mansion. Like, all of those things are things you can do to frame things for a luxury brand. So I want to show you a couple examples here. One of these I shot, one of these I did not. But these are examples where you don't even have to be in it. You're literally just shooting something in two different ways that can be used, like any of you can do. One of them requires a little bit more, something more, a little bit different, but we'll get into that in a second. So let's take a look at this one real quick.
Ace bidet toilets. It is one of my favorite things I've ever purchased. Maybe the number one favorite thing I purchased because I use it every day. And so would you, because you probably poop every day. You need to get something like this. It cleans your butt, makes you feel fresh, it decreases irritation, it decreases itchiness. You hate having a scratchy, itchy butt. This is what you need. Plus, it's just cleaner. It's way cleaner to clean your butt than with toilet paper. I guess you use toilet paper yourself dry. This thing even has a dryer in right there. I know what you're waiting for. HelloTissue.com. Get yourself one right now. This is the Ace. If you don't want to spend a few $100, you can get the cheaper model, which just sprays water in your butt, still gets the job done, get your butt nice and clean, but doesn't have a dryer or the heated seats and all that. This is probably the upgrade you want. Then highly recommend.
All right. Thanks for watching that whole ad. I'm not going to show the next whole one, but this was super easy. I mean, literally, I'm just talking behind the camera with shooting it with one hand, showing it. In this specific case, it works also well because I'm able to show a toilet, which is both potentially relevant to the audience that's watching it, shooting in a way that is potentially relevant and looks like stuff that other people would shoot. It's not overly polished. It wouldn't immediately look or feel like an ad, especially because it's like a toilet. It's kind of a funny thing. Like, why would anyone shoot an ad like that? And also, I like shooting in this way because I can actually redo that voiceover to add in whatever I want. I can redo that completely. So literally, I can shoot that the way that I did. And even if I mess up, or even if I don't like something, or if I later want to make an optimization to it, I can actually just redo the voiceover. I can do it 5 different ways. This ad has scaled. This concept is very, very simple to do. Find a way to show your product in your hand and talk about it, or show the problem in your hand and talk about it. There are so many things. Show a prop in your hand and film it. If this is relevant, this $10,000 prop might be relevant to this audience, but that doesn't mean to be relevant to every audience. If you're trying to sell a bidet, this would not be a relevant hook. If you're trying to sell, I don't know, some sort of financial thing, or you're trying to sell a marketing course, maybe like building ads with Barry, yeah, this might be a helpful prop for that audience who's trying to make money and cares a lot about money. So let's take one other look at this one right here. This is from licorice.com.
We got Jamie Pastor from Arizona. She ordered a 3-tube licorice gift box. The first flavor she ordered in that.
I'm just going to stop it right there. We do not need to watch this whole ad. But what I want you to take away from this is that you can literally get either a chest mount or a head mount for your phone, or you can get an Instago 360. You can buy a specific camera that or a GoPro or something like this that can help you shoot, so you can shoot hands-free and use both your hands. This effect is a first-person view. It's super relatable. There's tons of organic content that's being shot in this way, and it's a fun storytelling method. So it's so easy to do. And a lot of businesses, you have a warehouse. Showing the warehouse lighting, showing the warehouse stack, showing all of it, there's something to that doesn't feel like an ad and doesn't feel hyper polished, and people really don't sense it as an ad, and then you can get their attention. The thing with both of these is also, like, if you think about what we're seeing in the beginning, like, is this relevant to people?
All right, next up we got Jamie Pastor.
Maybe in this top here, it says I'm surprising my dad. He loves licorice. They're talking about gifting. So, and then this video actually goes on to talk
Arizona.
about.
She ordered a
Hold on one
3-tube
second.
licorice gift box. First flavor she ordered in that gift box is going to be one of my favorites, Australian red. Flavors
talking about liking the different flavors. So, like, it's a pretty box. There's, like, talking about the snacks. Like, it's super relevant. And if we think about
This is my
this ad, not only does it show a toilet, but there's a reveal, right? The very first second is something I'm thinking about. There's literally motion in that. Shout out to Motion for this event, but there's motion happening in that first shot, that first frame. Something is happening there. So these are small things that, if you're interested in learning more about, that's what I have a course for, buildingadswithbarry.com. Come join us in a couple days. We're launching, kicking off. Would love to have you. And Dara is going to be a guest speaker in there. So she's got a segment. Is she going to come over? I don't know. Is she going to get in the frame? Can she make it without knocking over my computer? There she is. So yeah, I would love to have you. And we're going to dig into more about how to make more ads like this yourself, and also how to just find inspiration for stuff like this, so you literally never run out of not just ideas, because ideas suck, but highly relevant inspiration for content styles that can work and can scale and be relevant to your audience and to your product. So that's it. buildingadswithbarry.com. I'm excited to see you there.
Everybody, show some love in the chat. Come on. Barry always comes through and delivers. Barry, you are the best, my friend. Thank you so much for coming up and absolutely smashing it. Appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Gotta flash the cash. I don't know how everyone else is feeling, but I already have like 30 new ideas that I have to try at this point. So like my list is just starting to build. And to keep this one moving, it's gonna be fun. So next up to the stage. So the next speaker you all are gonna go wild for. He's the AI guy. We couldn't do 2025 trends panel without an AI guy. He's the co-founder and CEO of Ready Set, Sleepless, and Airpost. And Airpost is a platform for AI-powered UGC video ads. Yup, let's do it. Let's welcome John to the stage, everybody. Round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you, Evan. I'm super excited to be here. Super excited to talk about AI with you guys. This is like my life now. Let me share my screen and let's dive right in. All right. 2025, for the first time, AI is going to change creative strategy forever. A little bit about me. I'm John. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Airpost.ai, really working to just throw over the whole coffee table of how creative is made and make it a lot easier to make a lot more volume and variety, to other keywords of 2025. Before Airpost, I was a co-founder and CEO of Ready Set. We're a creative first agency with a patented test and learn system, work for lots of great clients, and we're trying to bring those kinds of ads to everyone. Make this easier on you guys. All right, let's just talk about how good AI is getting and how fast. This is Will Smith eating spaghetti in January of last year.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
All right, and this is
One thing
Yeah.
You might have to go present mode. Whenever we're showing it, we're just seeing a stale screen. So go present
Oh,
mode.
are you really?
The audience going, yeah. Okay.
How about now? Do you see it moving?
Don't see it moving. We can see basically like the guts of the presentation. So rather than like the present mode. There we go. Now we're live. Yep.
All right. For some reason, when I do full screen, it's not working. So you all have to. Oh shoot! It's going to give away some answers later. All right, let's watch. So huge bounce forward from here to here. That's great. None of us are making Will Smith eating spaghetti ads. What about AI UGC ads? You're starting to see this term AI UGC pop up. When can this help us? I'm going to show you 3 ads, and I want you to try to guess which one is not using AI. All right, so one of those ads was totally done manually. They found an actor or actress, weeks, hours of work, an editor, ideation, the whole process. The other 2, and I really mean this, took 0 humans in the loop. They just were made with a click, the whole thing, end to end, based on a library of footage and other tech. All right, put in your, were you able to do the poll, Melissa? I see everyone putting it in the chat. Okay. Wow. A lot of different answers here. Oh, let me click on poll here. Hang on. I see. All right. The answer is this was done completely with AI. C was done completely with AI. And B was done with people. Let's do another one. Here's A.
I was tired of skin that just didn't feel tight. My bestie set me up with Get Dreamy, transforming my nights into restoration time. Enjoy the benefits of smoother toned skin. And Milk Thistle enhances my nightly routine.
Here's B.
Do you have crepey skin? Come here. You need Bee Glossy. Imagine being able to smooth out wrinkles with our serum. Just apply daily and see your skin transform. Because harnessing hyaluronic acid and shea butter for elasticity. Try out Bee Glossy and feel the firmness return.
And here's C.
Just got so much easier with Maylee's Sweet Dreams Sleep Tight Kit. If you're anything like me, one for you is your motto while holiday shopping. And the Sleep Tight Kit makes the perfect gift for the skincare lover in your life. The combination of the Get Dreamy Overnight Toning Body Whip and Get Cozy 2-in-1 Body and Pillow Mist will have you wanting to keep a set for yourself and share the love with others. Because sharing the gift of glowing skin starts with yourself. Celebrate the season of giving with Maylee's.
All right, let me flick back over here. I'm seeing a lot of C's is done manually. This one looks more consistently. Wow, you guys all think C. Oh, wait, here comes some B's. How about the poll? I can't see the results of it, Melissa. Can you? I can't hear you. Okay. Well, C, thank you. Yes, you all are very smart because AI, C is manual. If this were more of a conversation, I would love to learn from you what it is you spotted about that ad that feels that way. I have some guesses. Here's the kicker, though. So this is a customer of AirPost called Maylees. They've run a lot of these ads. They spend millions of dollars a month on paid social. A and C were, oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to switch these top performers. The the AI ones were spent a lot of money, and the manual one did not. Of course, they have a lot of manual ads that do spend a lot of money, but if you've ever wondered, yeah, but like, do these things work? They work. Okay, so these ads are more like assembly, right? These are all real actors. This is all real footage, nothing creepy, nothing uncanny. Full disclosure, these AI ads were all built with AirPost, but there's a lot of other stuff out there I want to share with you guys that's happening. The talking head staring at the camera thing also can work. I'll share some companies that are doing this well. You all have probably experimented with this before. I'm going to show you a top performing ad that's also spent quite a lot of money for manly bands that uses this model.
Embrace your inner outlaw with the cowboy ring. Crafted from black-plated tungsten with a koa wood inlay, this 8mm symbol of ruggedness and confidence will level up your style. Get yours now, slide it on, and tip your hat to a happily ever after.
So what's cool about that, again, from a production and cost standpoint, particularly if you are trying to be scrappy this year and get a lot of things made without a lot of time and money, it's a decent ad. It took somebody time to go pick all that B-roll out. It was built manually, but they did not have to cast a new actor. They didn't have to go back and forth with reshoots or sending a product, that maybe went to the wrong address, or figure out PayPal payments and all that stuff, Venmo. They just probably did it in about 4 or 5 hours, and it was a hit. Okay, what does the future look like? Nobody knows the future, but I live this every day and can share a little bit at least about what I'm seeing. By the end of this year, this I'm sure of because it's already here, you'll be able to artificially shoot images of almost any product. So none of these images exist. This was like a one-shot thing. I didn't even try to massage the prompt or the training model. This is from a company called EverArt that I'll list at the end of this. Some of these are funky, but you go into Shutterstock and you're looking for a picture of someone doing yoga. They have 1 million pictures. You just need one. It's real easy to pick at the ones that are funny. But they got the wording right in this. The coloring of the bottle is right on this bottom one here. So if you don't have much to work with, you can start here. And then this image also was produced with EverArt. Not a real guy, not a real image. Looks pretty darn real, right number of fingers. And then you can pop it into Sora or Runway, and not a bad little few seconds to use in a video ad. Completely manufactured out of thin air with AI. It's getting pretty real now. By the end of this year, you won't need lots of shoots and platforms and all this stuff. You'll just be able to do this stuff yourselves. It gives you guys a ton of power. So you'll be able to artificially shoot almost any image, bring those images to life with video, build out a huge library, and then use AI. We're one of many companies that are working on this to make hundreds of fresh UGC video ads, kind of like all those yoga photos that you choose from versus going and doing a yoga shoot yourself, pre-stock images. We're about to enter an era where you can just look through hundreds of creatives based on certain templates that work, many of them that you've seen on this presentation and this call from others. DeepSeek is a sea change. Essentially what it's going to do is lead to a lot more startups able to dive in and help make creatives and help make everyone's job higher leverage and write more colloquial scripts. A lot of you have probably realized that AI sucks at writing things that sound authentic. That's absolutely true. You go to ChatGPT and say, write me a TikTok strip for Brooklyn and Sheets. It's going to be pretty corny and not work. But it's getting better and better and better. And there are now many startups that are really focused on fine-tuning those models to make scripts that you can't tell the difference. You saw some of those ads earlier. And then AI will go beyond words to take actions. This is extremely nascent. I mean, this just launched like a week or two ago. Claude has had one for a little longer, but this is real. You can go in and give it access to your Facebook account, ask it to audit your account structure, ask it to do all those annoying uploads and naming conventions and formatting things and more complex things. Use Foreplay to find the longest running ads of my competitors, take their hooks and structure, make a script that sounds kind of along the same lines, Slack it to my editor that I just got set up on Upwork, and tell them to get it to me Monday. And you just type that like a prompt and it goes. If it sounds futuristic, it's really not. I think by the end of this year, we'll all be doing that. Okay, I wanted to leave you all with some things worth checking out. I could have given you 198 AI companies and demos and tweets and vaporware. I tried to keep it focused to things that you saw in this presentation, things that actually work, things that are actually useful for creative strategists today. HeyGen does the best, in my opinion, at the talking head thing. You can also go into CapCut and use it. I've done that a lot. I would highly recommend you sign up, pre-sign up for Instagram Edit, the big CapCut competitor they've been working on a long time. There's a lot of AI tools in that. Watching Barry's presentation, which I thought was great, there's also a lot of like filters and AI characters and things that you can use now beyond just what's coming through your lens to really make it look catchy. AI images, I mentioned EverArt. This is like a 5-person company, guys. Again, with DeepSeek, you're going to see a lot more of those that are really powerful. Imagine Create does the same kind of thing. If you've got a fashion brand, you can literally take a shirt image that you threw up on Amazon and make images of lots of models wearing the shirt. And it looks extremely realistic. Image to video, taking images you already have, maybe something that's performing well, maybe something you made out of thin air with EverArt, and just saying to Runway, you don't even have to prompt it. You can just say, 5 seconds, go. Sora, 5 seconds, 9x16, go. And it will make it move like the guy holding the Atlas protein bar. And then end-to-end marketing. This is the vision of AirPost. This is where I think our industry is headed. It's what's putting all these tools and high leverage in your hands. I think creatives will be doing creativity for a very long time, the rest of my lifetime. But these tools on this screen, and particularly these tools that can take action, can just make all of us super creative strategists. And that's it. Feel free to reach out to me if you ever want to just talk AI. I love nerding out on this stuff. It's really fun to build and really fun to talk about.
John, appreciate you coming with the AI takes and your own experience. Absolutely incredible, my friend. Everybody in the chat, round of applause, round of applause. You see the love coming through. You see the love coming through. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you.
Anytime.
Awesome. Okay, so next up, we're continuing on, is a man whose face you have most certainly recognized if you're in the D2C community. He's the VP of Growth at Hott, executive editor of the Operators newsletter, previously at Shopify Plus and Common Thread Collective. And I got to say this, he has some of the best energy I have been around. Let's welcome Aaron to the stage. Hey, yo.
Now, before you leave, good sir. I love the intro. You tell me how long. Am I screen sharing now? Is everything up there? You can see it?
Yes, sir. I got you. You're good to go.
Fabulous. All right. Yeah. So my big idea here today is getting small to go big, personalization. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through not just a number of ads, but also a number of funnels because, spoiler, at Hott, our tagline is create funnels the same way you create ads. This is a twofer. I'm going to give you value, and I'm going to dress it all up in the thing that we sell. You ready for this? All right, I am a shill. Barry's not? I am. Let's roll. The 3 big ideas are going to be offers, audiences, and value propositions. Aligning, focusing, not this siren call off of, I would say, Meta into new ad platforms, but milking Meta for as much as it is freaking worth. And the key to that is in your creative, going small to identify the offers, audiences, and value propositions that the machine, the greatest machine in the history of demand generation and demand capture that has ever been created, Meta, can do its thing well. So that hinges on creative, but I'm going to break it down throughout the funnel, offers, audiences, and value propositions. Okay. Now to do this, I'm going to dress it up in some real brand clothes. Haha, pun intended. First up is going to be True Classic. Probably needs no introduction, right? One of the fastest growing, most successful D2C men's apparel brands in the history of all things internet. All right. Now, this ad that I'm showing you right here, originally created for last year's Valentine's Day campaign. So there's a couple vibe to it, opens with this sort of ego stroking, and then all throughout the ad, what I'm showing here on the left, you'll notice there's this emphasis not on single products, but bundle and save. It's inside of the CTA. And what we do at Hott is allow you to take that exact same creative, just like True Classic has done here, embed it onto the page so it feels like an extension of that winning ad, and then merchandise it so that instead of going from the wait, what I was looking at bundles, where are the bundles now, it's a single sweatshirt kind of feel that often happens. You go right into a page with single shirt, bundle, 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 arranged to buy more, save more. Now, it's the same thing when you go inside of the embedded PDP. You get the same thing when you go inside of the cart, so that you've got like the 3-pack, upsell to 6, upsell to 9, and then off into checkout. Okay. Now, this is a 1-for-1 example. Very obvious when you look at the creative and the experience on the landing page. More often than not, though, especially when you're using stills, what you're going to be doing is many to one. So in the case of True Classic, this is one of their most successful new customer acquisition campaigns. It's the only pay for what you keep, try before you buy. So they've loaded up multiple types of creative, multiple images, body copy, all driving to this very clearly connected try before you buy lander into a $0 product that carries on through to the cart with those bundle upsells we saw. And then no surprises when you hit checkout, it's still a $0 product ready and waiting for you there. This is one of the reasons that it's such a successful new customer acquisition. Is there's no hoops to jump through. It is simply a continuation of the offer on the front end all the way through, right? That's many to one. Now, Laura Geller, and I love this. I think she already bounced from backstage, but this very first example from Laura Geller, here we're moving into personas, right? Look at that, the 5-minute makeup routine. Okay, so I'm going to show you what the rest of the story looks like from this grid ad. Right into, from the grid 5-minute makeup routine to a landing page built exactly off of it, walking through what that routine looks like. Embedded videos, checklists, right? Buy box, A+, Amazon reminiscent content, into a PDP for the exact same item. And then what I want you to pay attention to here with Laura Geller, and I'm going to show you a couple more examples from them in just a second, is that the upsells, in the case of the add to bag triggered, what we've got is the baked and a brilliant color correcting foundation, followed by brushes that are then also upsold once you hit the cart itself. So that fourth panel right there is a really powerful 2-for-1, building on top of the routine that brought them in to begin with. Right? Now, this is an example of a different product, different type of creative, why this went viral on TikTok. This is the baked in brilliant color correcting foundation. So one item, continuation from the ad to the landing page, on into the product page. And in this case, what they're doing is they've actually dropped the upsell prices. So it's just the blending brush set to go with it, and then a concealer instead of the higher price point upsells that took place with the routine. And we're going to see something really, really similar as well in this third example from Laura Geller, where this is their baked starter kit. Okay, so still creative on the front end, going into the landing page. This is more of that advertorial 5 reasons why. Same thing happens here in the PDP, but notice that the PDP upsell and on into cart now is matching the actual shade and then the brush upsell. Okay, now I may be giving new meaning to the phrase lightning round, but we're going to keep going. That was offers. Now we're into personas. Okay, fresh, clean threads. Fresh, clean threads also probably needs no introduction. Very similar to True Classic. You can see here on their homepage, this is live Valentine's Day sale, predominantly focused on a male demographic. Okay, so by going small to go big, what I mean is what Fresh Clean Threads has begun to do is launch women selling to women ads, then hitting a landing page that's re-emphasizing very clearly who that demographic is and the driving value proposition behind it so that it's merchandised with the female product front and center. We go into the PDP that's there, same thing, women's 5-pack V-neck added to gets the crew 5-pack as the upsell. So this is what I mean by personas, matching that creative that can go find your audience to the experience of what happens next. They did the same thing over the holidays with women selling to men in this case, right? So we've got that matching creative between the two to begin with, and then on to, if it's women selling to men, right? It's male products that are then on the PDP as well in the shopping cart itself. But of course, we've also got their bread and butter staple, which is men selling to men, matching on the PDP across the board. All right. Value propositions. What do I mean by value propositions? Let me give you an example from Armra and a few of these, okay? So this is one of Armra's top performing ads. Very simple, and they've seeded their account with a lot of contenders to this simplicity. Some of them are video creative as well, but it's the information, 5 benefits of Armra. It's kind of a take on the 5 reasons why. They experiment a lot with matching the hook and the content on the lander to their top performing creative. This goes into the length that takes place on a landing page from 5 reasons to 10 reasons why. Then they take their top performers, and when they launch new products, they look at this, just a simple change in the background to now their new flavor that's been launched. And when you hit the embedded PDP, this is the comparison between, on the right, the Immune Revival jar, $76 price point, versus the new single product flavor drop. It's sticks for $34.67. So they're adapting the first product that you see through the funnel to match what takes place in the ad account, on that hero section of the landing page, and then on into cart. This is where these people get so freaking clever, because it's not just 5 or 10 general reasons. They've also identified that their same product can serve various value propositions that in this case relate directly to hair. It also relates to beauty and skin, and it also relates to bloating. So the ads in each one of these cases, right? Hair, skin, beauty, bloating. And then this is just one of my favorites that in my heart of hearts, I really hope that Barry had something to do with. Have you pooped yet? Just one of my favorites, right? Okay. So if you take nothing else away from my presentation today, I want you to constantly be thinking about, yes, those creative, those ads on the front end, offers, audiences, and value propositions. How are you creating a through line so it matches your audience at every step of the journey?
Aaron, the first thing everyone said was that energy. We need whatever coffee you're drinking, whatever it is. So thank you for coming up and blessing the stage and reminding people it's not just about the ad, it's about the entire funnel. We appreciate you. We love you. Thank you. Awesome, y'all. Aaron's gonna hang around. If there are any questions, like, he will be able to answer in the chat. So feel free to toss them in there and he'll be able to help out. But all right. Time is flying by, right? We're halfway through this, and I'm telling you, this is probably one of the highest ROI pieces at this time of the year. So let's keep it pushing. Up next, we have Mirella Crespi. She's someone that I deeply respect and is the founder of Creative Milkshake, one of the largest performance creative studios in Europe. She's shipping over 2,000 ads every month for global brands like Fiverr, Nectar, and more. Everybody, show some love in the chat for Mirella. Mirella, welcome to the party. How are you feeling? You are 3,000% muted is the only thing.
Raj,
it's so fun.
can you hear me?
Now we got you. Welcome.
All right. Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we got you. The connection's a little bit spotty, so I'll pop up if I need to, but come in and kill it, and I'll see you in a bit, okay?
Okay. All right. Hello, everyone. So excited to be here. Love being part of this amazing headline. And yeah, I'll do my best to match Aaron's energy. Let's do this. Am I sharing my screen already? Yeah. Where is the...
This is where technology is our best friend and worst enemy. Mirella, you should see something on the side of your screen where there's a bunch of buttons and one of them says screen with a little pointy button? Let me know if that works.
Screen. All right, that works. Is this live? Are we working?
We got you.
All right. Hello, everyone. I am Mirella, founder and CEO of Creative Milkshake. We are focusing on creative strategy optimization and analysis for some of the world's best brands. And we developed an industry-leading best practices to ensure creativity and paid social optimization work in synergy to scale ad spend profitably, developing creative strategy, producing the creatives and their ad variations, running the tests, performing the analysis, and then diving into optimizations and iterations. And that's how we continuously improve performance. Some of the brands we've worked with the past year alone. So let's talk about today why diversity and volume matter. This was a big topic in Motion's 2025 trends reports. If you had a chance to read it, if you haven't, definitely do. I think it's very important for advertisers to understand that whether you're spending money on Meta or TikTok, these are content eating beasts. The more creative concepts and variations you test, the more you can unlock different audience segments, and the algorithm will reward you because it will be able to optimize delivery for your ideal customers. But like, what does that mean? Like, how do we achieve that? And I want to take a second to talk about AI because I was really fascinated by the conversation in the chat that was happening during like the topic when AI was coming up and the different points of view. And I think that I want to share my take as well, that I believe that AI is here to augment the creative strategists, the creators, and the actors, to improve our efficiency, to improve our speed, to allow us to create more ads faster because we have amazing tools coming out for every stage of the process. But I do believe that the more prevalent that AI content becomes, the more we are going to crave the real, the human, the authentic. So my advice to you would be to look ahead to 2025 and think about how you can plug in as many AI tools as possible to build your automated workflows, but continue to try to really understand consumer psychology and try to create ads that are more human, because at the end of the day, that's what is really going to make people convert, because we're going to get more and more numb to a lot of AI content. So let's talk about creative diversity. There's so many ways to think about creative diversity. And this is how you should think about volume. There is no point in just increasing the quantity of ads and you're just producing, just dumping into your ad account the same types of ads. That's not really going to help you. The best way to think about it is to diversify and then scale. So this is a creative diversification guide that we always refer to. Take a screenshot, use it as a checklist. But there's so many ways to diversify your creative through your messaging. So using different emotional motivators and barriers to reach new audiences, different formats so you can make the most out of the auction and the different placements, different styles of execution, whether it's beautiful branded high production or it's UGC lo-fi. There's so many ways to tackle execution. And checking off all the different placements that your creatives are optimized for that. So I will share some of the best ad types that we worked on for last year, but also looking ahead and a different way to think about creative optimization. So creative, when you're thinking about your creatives and making sure that you are diversifying your strategy, try thinking of it from the three different points of view. Ads that reach your user from the brand's voice and the brand's perspective. Ads that reach your user from the customer perspective and share the customer voice. And then the third perspective, which is the expert POV. So what do I mean by that? When it translates to static ads, you have your branded static ads that are coming to your consumer from the brand's voice. They have usually a more polished look. They follow the brand guidelines, and they're talking about, here's our 3 key USPs, and here's the results you can expect to get, your classic comparison ads, and so on. And then you have the native or user point of view for your static ads, and these look native. They blend better into the feeds. They can be memes. They can be what looks like screenshots or your written messages and your posted ads, but these look more native and ugly. And then you have the third voice, which is the expert point of view. These are ads that are meant to look like an excerpt of a publication. And they bring on to this conversation about your brand, this third voice, which is more objective and professional. So make sure when you are crafting your strategy that you are addressing all these different points of view. And let's look at some examples of what it looks like when we apply that to video ads. So for the brand's point of view, behind the scenes, founder and employee generated content, you're going to see a lot more of that. This is when brands really take you behind the scenes, and it's either the founder telling you their story or it's employees in a factory making content. A lot of the brands that are blowing up on TikTok, if you look at their feeds, they don't even show you or talk much about their product. It's just the content and the team making ads. And it's basically what Barry talked about, right? Go make ads, whether you are a brand yourself or you are an agency or consultant working with a brand, brainstorm on how you can bring them on to create ads for the brand as well. The brand can create tutorials of how to buy the product, how to best use it. Any celebrity endorsements or influencer endorsements, that's still coming from the brand's perspective, and your classic product explainers that still feel polished and looks like it's coming from the brand. Then the customer point of view. A lot of what we talked about in the trends report is the importance of understanding how to create ads that are funny. And some formats that work well are these comedy skits that feel very native to the platform. And I think this is something that I really understood with my team last year, is that traditional UGC, in the sense of content that mimicked influencer content from the past, whether it's people just holding a product and unboxing it or whatever, those ads are slowly dying. And what is working now is content that blends into the discovery feed. So this is content that is funny, it's entertaining, or it's educational. So explore different ways of creating comedy skits where the same person can play different personas to create that dialogue. Or the talking product is a format that we see working really well. And the eye and mouth filter can be applied to the product or to the fridge that's telling you not to go steal another snack, or to anything. More examples of the customer point of view. These are also formats that, again, blend into the discovery feed because they feel very native. So whether it is a styling reel that uses these effects that resemble what real fashion creators are posting online, or the whiteboard explainer, which is a funny way to explain your products, like key unique benefits and features, the street interview that usually has a very high hook and hold rate because they just blend in, and if the script is strong and the questions are good, it's a high average watch time. And then a candid POV. So these can be spying your coworker in the office space, or sometimes it's couples comedy. Just having that candid look into people's lives tend to convert really well because, again, it blends in, but it stands out. Then the expert point of view. Podcast ads absolutely crushed it last year, and I believe they will continue to. These are quite hard to execute. I can spot, and I'm sure most people can spot a fake podcast right away. These are not necessarily easy to produce. In our studio, we build custom podcast sets for different brands. We augment it with AI, and the editing also matters in terms of making sure that they feel punchy and still native. But these can work really well because, again, they add that other perspective and voice to your strategy. It works well to fight common objections and to bring in that expert. And the experts can be an expert because of their qualifications. Let's say, for example, you're interviewing a nutritionist or a skincare expert, or someone can be an expert just because they lived and they're sharing their story. For example, the video on the right, she's talking about going through menopause and the issues that she faced and how she dealt with it. So she becomes an expert just because she's lived through it. And then another format that is absolutely crushing it that you should definitely invest is VSLs. Now, VSLs can be a little bit longer than your average ad, anywhere from like 5 to 7 minutes, but some VSLs can go as long as like 45 minutes. And you're like, what? Can 45-minute long ads work on Facebook? Absolutely, they can, and they actually crush it. But the key about these ads is looking at it from the perspective that the goal is not necessarily to sell the product right away. So these ads don't necessarily follow your typical direct response formats of like hook, body, introduce the product, social proof, etc., call to action. These ads are really meant to educate, to address the skepticism, to go deep into a specific topic, to share the science. And so most of the times they don't even take you to the product page. They'll take you to a quiz or to another even longer video. So it's quite a long funnel. But depending on the type of product you're working with, this can work really, really well. And that's it. I hope these tips and examples were helpful. I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you so much.
My brain is exploding. Mirella, you killed it. Thank you.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
As soon as I jump on, we get a little bit of lag from Mirella. I think there probably was a couple questions in the chat. There might be some more that are coming through, so feel free to hang around. But for now, we want to keep this thing moving. Everybody, how are we feeling? I feel like my brain is exploding with information. So let's do a quick stretch. Take a deep breath. Whoo, and keep this thing going because we got some amazing gems continuing as we continue through the program here. So coming up next to the stage is a creative consultant and creator, Hannah. I'm super excited to hear what she's seeing on the front lines. She was previously the creative director at AdCrate. Now she's a content creator and consultant who has contributed to more than 16 M's in ad spend on on-camera creatives alone. Welcome to the party, Hannah. Super excited to have you here.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. Can you hear me okay? And can you see my slides?
Can hear you great, Hannah. Can see your slides great. I'm going to pop out, do your thing, and I'll see you in a bit.
Awesome. Well, yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Hannah Houg, and I am so thrilled to be here today at Motion's 2025 Creative Trends Lightning Round. And first off, huge thank you to Motion for bringing us all together today. The insights so far have been absolutely phenomenal. A lot of AI talk, a lot of human talk, and I cannot wait to share mine with you. So today I am diving into a topic that feels especially urgent in the fast and ever-evolving world of advertising. And that is balancing authenticity in the increasingly automated and AI-driven world. So yeah, I call that, sorry, I skipped a slide there. But before we jump in, it's probably good that you know who I am. So a little bit about me. Over the past 10 years, I've worked across almost every facet of marketing as a creative consultant, director, strategist, and creator myself. I've partnered with over 300 DTC brands to craft creative strategies and content that have driven millions in profitable ad spend for my clients. But here's what I've learned after all this experience. So While data and tools are absolutely crucial, nothing beats the power of human connection. And that insight has shaped my trend today, and one that will never go away. So sorry. I call this shift exactly that. It's authenticity in the AI era. It's about making your ads feel alive, not automated. So the rise of AI has created a paradox. It's powerful, but it's also predictable. And audiences, they are hungry for raw, real moments. Authenticity resonates because it reflects real life. People want to see themselves in the ads that they consume. They want the raw, unscripted moments that reflect their own experiences and values and relationships. And there's even science to back this up. I don't know if you guys knew this, but when we watch others interact with a product, our mirror neurons activate, making us feel like we're actually part of that moment. And this is why showcasing authentic interactions, moments your customers recognize in their own lives, creates a deeper connection. And it's not just about selling a product, it's about meeting your audience exactly where they are. When we put these human stories front and center, our content transforms from transactional to relatable and from forgettable to impactful. And when people connect on a human level, that's where brand loyalty and sales truly thrive. So, what does this look like? Authenticity in the AI era. Well, first, I want you to think of your product as a conversation starter. So, imagine friends taste testing a drink, a family unboxing a gift in real time, or maybe parents chatting about your product during a road trip. You see, it's not just about featuring people, but it's about highlighting connection and creating moments that feel lived in, authentic, and undeniably human, something AI just can't replicate. So as AI generated content floods our digital space, consumers are really hitting algorithm fatigue, and they're craving what they've always craved, something real, human connection in its rawest form. And this is challenging brands to move beyond the more polished UGC, one-off creator UGC, and really embrace multi-voice narratives that are showcasing real people sharing those genuine reactions and everyday scenarios. And so some great examples of this include family unboxing, like my gifting videos for Unhide. And this video went on to do over $1 million and spend profitably. And so these videos really evoke emotion and feel relatable, wildly successful. Group taste tests are another winner in the food and beverage space. You could think of our friends over at AdCrate. They're very good at recreating these in the food and beverage space, but think dynamic and fun. Think about your own relationships. And when you try a product, don't you naturally want to talk about that product with others? Where do those conversations take place? Because it is not always at home. And I think that we're really getting into a box there, thinking that it only has to happen in the home. So the key is making your product the centerpiece of a moment that feels genuine, whether it's friends chatting in the mirror, families on vacation, or teammates sharing a win together. These formats let your customers see themselves in your story and connect with both your brand and your product. So let's see. So how do we bring this trend to life? Well, it all starts with rethinking UGC. So stop confining creators to their rooms and start simple. Brainstorm everyday moments in places where your product fits naturally. Birthday parties, movie nights, soccer games, and design your creative and messaging around these relatable scenarios. You could then take it to the next level by encouraging creators to live with your product. So instead of a single brief, give them a list of moments to capture over time. This creates authentic footage without the pressure of a hard deadline. Next, you could leverage Facebook groups or go all out. So if you're wanting to go all out, leverage Facebook groups, local communities, or micro agencies like Hummingbirds to connect with your niche audiences. For example, you could send your You could send your sports drink, say you're a sports drink company, you could send those to local coaches and have the entire team try it and have, them record that. So these raw group real interactions feel organic and real. And so that's where we're going to go all out is our friends over at AdCreate are great at creating these group creator events. And that's really for the people who are ready to go all out with the strategy. So you can organize group creator events where your product becomes part of the shared experiences. So think of it as content and bulk. You can capture endless footage from different angles and situations in one single day. It's an investment upfront, absolutely, but the ROI from getting multiple people in one location and getting that content can be massive. So the goal is to make your content feel lived in and not staged, and to meet your customers where they already are and create stories that they can see themselves in and lived in. So as we wrap up today, I just want to leave you with these key takeaways for creating authentic content in this AI-driven world. So first and foremost, prioritize the genuine human connections. And truly, I would just love to see you make a list of all of those moments where your customer could potentially see themselves with your product, whether that's out at the pool, on spa day, out at a game, and make a list and create content around those things. So prioritize the human connections in your content for those real unscripted moments that AI just simply can't replicate. And next, let your product naturally spark the conversations and think of it as a catalyst for authentic storytelling and experiences. And lastly, just remember to capture those everyday moments, whether it's a family gathering, friendly meetup, or those priceless gifting reactions. You have to choose the execution strategy that will be best for you. You can start, all the way down from not confining creators to a single room. I think a lot of us have gotten in that trap where we just think that UGC means sending a product directly to someone in their room, but this is not the way. So choose your execution strategy from simple one-on-one content to full-scale group shots. There is a plethora of options available for continuing to really highlight these general and genuine human connections with your audiences in the moments that they see it. So when you embrace these principles, you will create content that not only cuts through the algorithmic noise, but also brings back the heartbeat of human connection, proving that in an AI-driven world, authentic storytelling truly remains king. So with that, thank you guys so much for your time today. So if you'd like to dive deeper into this trend or chat about creative strategy or humanization or AI, I'd love to connect. You can find me at hannahhaug.co or reach out on socials. So in 2025, let's create content that brings people together and reminds us why human connection matters the most. Thanks, guys.
Hannah, I love the energy and love the perspective. Everybody show love in the chat. Show love in the chat.
Thanks,
That was
guys.
incredible.
Thank you so much for having me.
And if you have any questions, Hannah's going to stick around as well. So if those questions pop up in the chat, she can jump in, let you know what's going on. Appreciate you, Hannah. You're the best.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for having me.
Most definitely. Everybody, we got 2 more speakers for you all. 2 more of the biggest names in DTC. This guy, you definitely know. He's the CEO of Sharma Brands. He's worked with brands like Rare Beauty, Feastables, Jolie, and Taco Bell, to name a couple of them. But let's get Nick Sharma up here. Welcome to the stage, my friend. I'm so excited to have you here, man. Let's show some love in the chat.
Amazing. So excited to be here.
Awesome, Nick. I'm going to pop out. You're going to pop in, do your thing, and I'll see you in a bit.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, I'm excited to be here with everybody and to chat all things creative. I'm a motion user for a long time, so this is an honor to be here alongside some awesome names. So, when I think about paid media today, creative is obviously one of the biggest things that ties into paid media. And, the way that media consumption has shifted, no one is really finding accounts and finding brands or finding influencers. These accounts are basically now finding users. And based on this, these platforms use 0, first, second, and third-party data, which if you don't know the difference, zero-party data are like adjectives to you as a person. First-party data is customer data or first-party data that you own. Second-party data is data that Facebook might buy from Oracle, credit card data, things like that. And then third-party data is data they gather from other data sources. So, all these platforms use 0, first, second, and third-party data to then decide what content they're going to show you, both organic and also on the paid side. And honestly, one of the things that, really hit home last year that was big was when everybody starts pulling dollars back in terms of where they're investing on creative or agency partners or whatnot, the people who succeeded the best were the ones who could maximize how well they created content made for the For You feed. And from there, once you're good at mastering the For You feed, then you can pretty much crush everything on the paid side. One of the things that I believe to be true is that creative is now the new targeting. We've probably all heard this before. And, these are just ads that are examples of showing how we are then, finding people through the creative. So, as much first party as we can bring into these ad platforms is what we need to do, whether it's pixels, whether it's customer lists, whether it's buying data. The more traffic and purchase and other event data that you can put into your pixels, the better that their targeting gets and their refinement gets. And you just need to develop a great practice around high volume creative output, because the more you test, the more you will basically be able to find new audiences and find new customers and find winners at scale. In most ad accounts, it's only about 10 to 25% of creatives you input end up finding scale. And so you just need to be testing more and more and more. The worst thing is when, I'll go into an ad account and see that 2 pieces of ad creative are driving the entire ad account spend. So how do you do this? Well, you need to build out a creative testing program within your ad platform. So whether it's YouTube, whether it's Facebook, whether it's honestly TV or TikTok, you want to build out a program where you are adding in, new creative on a weekly or every 2 weeks basis. And the way that I like to do this is I like to test going broad first, which again, back from a couple slides ago, that just means where the platforms think you're best positioned to win based on the data that they have. If not that, then lookalikes, and if not that, then interest-based groups. And once you find something that shows promise, or I usually look for 3 times your CPA target within the first few purchases before it starts to scale. Once you find that it's starting to scale, you port it over to your scaling campaigns and allow it to scale there. Then once you have all that, then you basically double down. Anything that you see is working, whether it's a graphic, whether it's a hook, whether it's a line of copy, you start replicating that in as many ways possible, and you see which ones, which other versions of that you can make win. A lot of times you'll see this happens on TikTok where, influencers, once they figure out a hook that works, they'll make every video start with that hook. It happens a lot with vloggers on TikTok. And the same thing goes here. Once you find a hook or a style or a format that works, double down on that and try to implement it in as many ways as possible. And that's it.
Nick, I feel like you came through with the best lighting, the best camera, and just dropped some on everyone's head. Incredible, man. Round of applause in the chat. Round of applause in the chat.
Amazing.
The only follow-up question I have here is to speak to this volume. In your recommendation, what is the ideal team structure to make something like this happen?
Well, there's, I can tell you what we have. We have basically creative strategist, creative director, somebody who sits between media and analytics, and then creative pod is a copywriter, animator, graphic designer, and video editor. We're an agency, so we can do that and then add multiple brands to that. If you're a brand, then you probably want, some level of a creative director and maybe a multifaceted creative, probably with an emphasis on the video side. But those last few ads I showed in the last slide, those are also situations where if you find a good graphic designer that you can work with as a contractor, and you're a media buyer, like if you just get these Figma templates of static ads, you can go in and take one template and turn that into 45 ads that you export and test.
get scrappy with it and figure out the whole process. I love it, man. I love it. Nick, this was incredible. Thank you so much for coming up here and killing the stage.
Of course.
You're the best. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Can you believe it? We've literally made it to our last speaker, and she's the perfect one to bring us home here. Sarah Levinger is going to leave you with some major consumer psychology breakthroughs. She's the founder of Tether Insights, and she's helped brands like Hexclad, True Classic, and Original Grain scale more sustainably by tapping into behavior-driven insights. Everybody, please welcome the one, the only Sarah Levinger to the stage.
You're so kind. That's like the nicest intro ever. I'm like, wow. Thank you, Evan. You're so nice. That helps me.
God,
On a
no, you're the
Thursday,
best.
that helps me.
You are the best. You are the best. Okay, I'll jump out, do your thing, and I'll see you in a bit.
Okay, sounds lovely. I'm so excited to chat with you guys today. Clearly, Sarah loves talking psychology. So, okay, for my little tiny segment, my contribution to all of these lovely speakers that we've had today, I really want to dive into how you actually get to know the customers that you're building all of these incredible ads for. So whether you're going to use AI or creators or go to an agency or do it in-house, whatever you want to do, however you want to build your creative team, totally fine. One of the things that we have to do, though, is understand who we're talking to, what they want most, and how we're going to say it to them so they know we are talking to them. So one of the biggest, I would say, creative trends that I'm seeing currently coming up in the space today in 2025 is multiple identity matching in ads. So we're going to go over what this means, why it's really important, especially for 2025 creative, especially if you're going to go after the volume game, and how to kind of build your own, what would you call it, like avatars or archetypes, so that you can take all of these identities that exist inside your TAM and then apply it to your ads and see better results. So multiple identity matching. Let's talk a little bit about what it looks like in an organic sense, and then I'm going to tell you what it means. And I'm doing this on purpose. So this is just a good example. If you go and you scroll on TikTok, you're going to see all these really interesting, weird things. And this is like straight out of Sarah's TikTok, which is why it looks weird, because I'm involved in many very strange communities. So one of the TikToks that comes up most often for me is this lovely gentleman over here whose name is Emmanuel, and he is an ostrich, and I absolutely love him because a part of my identity on TikTok is, oddly enough, farming communities, and I really just enjoy watching people farm. So Sarah's feed is full of like, yes, thank you. Okay, so people have heard of Emmanuel. Thank you. I'm not the only one. He is the best person on TikTok. I love him, and I wish I was friends with him. Anyways, so TikTok has formulated their entire platform, their algorithm, based upon Sarah's personality, right? Secondary to this, I have like this weird obsession with all these clay creatures. Like I really love clay talk is what they call it, like woodland creature talk. All of my identities are being served to me in the platform, and this is one of them. I love watching people create these tiny little, I don't even know, like dragons and things. I'm not talented with clay, so I love watching other people who are. Last on my feed is almost always some sort of like inspirational, right? The pursuit of yourself, lots of like self-care, self-love, self-improvement. So this is directly what kind of feeds into my feed. I don't really have TikTok like suited to marketing. It's all just random stuff that I really enjoy. Everyone's feed looks like this. And it's because all of the people that are consuming content on TikTok have their own individual identities represented back to them based upon what the platform is seeing, right? So, and yes, Nick, get on Clay Talk. It's crazy. You'll get addicted. Okay, so moving on. This is the trend that we're seeing is identities are already being served to people. It's technically not a new trend. Every platform does it. It's been happening since the platforms were born. It's trending this particular year because I find that the brands are just now starting to realize that we can tap into these identities and get our ads way more, what's the word? Like out there in the ether, right? We can actually push reach by identifying where people are internally and then just basically serving them a mirror inside an ad. So why is it trending? Very first, I would say familiarity is incredibly important for brands, right? Consumers are going to engage with those brands that validate their own identities. So if you feel familiar, oftentimes consumers are going to come into your ecosystem just because they like how you feel. Second to this behavior, obviously, like we just talked about, social platforms are already doing this. They reward a lot of ads that kind of resonate with who you are as a person. And the platforms are suited, they're built to find the communities that youth are most matched with and then just serve you that content. The same goes for ads. Platforms are going to reward your ability to mirror identities. And last on here, culture. Obviously, niche communities are really interesting because they really value those brands that celebrate their more unique lifestyles. So this is why it's trending up in 2025. We are starting to see this very strange new era kind of come into play. We just came out of kind of this like direct response era. We're moving into participation. Participation era is going to become a huge, huge thing in 2025 and beyond. Consumers love to participate. And by way of participating, they just really love to see themselves in ads. So why is this happening? Obviously, depending on which generation you were born into, you have a very distinct world view, right? Very distinct view of what is happening in your particular ecosystem. And that's really just built on the experiences that you've had throughout your entire life. So a boomer is going to need to see things in ads that is very different than maybe a millennial would, right? Gen Xers have a very different worldview than the Gen Zers do. Every single generation that you're marketing to has a very, very different set of needs, specifically when it comes to ads, things that they really have to hear to be able to resonate deeply with the ads that you're building. Now, it's not difficult to know what they need to hear. It's just a little time consuming. You have to do some studying and some research. So going back to identity focused, if it's already happening on the organic side, how can we actually take what's working on the platforms from the organic creators and then put it into our ads so that paid advertising will have the same effect that the organic style of creative does? There's only 3 steps to this. It's actually really not that hard. Like I said, it just takes a little upfront work. So to execute this, the very first thing you need to do is research into your TAM. And obviously, I talk about research a lot, and everybody's out here doing research. We're all kind of trying to figure out and pull data in and get more information on our customers. But the very first thing I would do, you can do this in chat really easily. Take out all of your reviews, drop them into chat, and say, chat, pull out as many of the identities that exist inside my reviews as possible. And then all I want you to do is get a list, a full list of every single identity that it happens to be inside your TAM, right? The next thing you're going to do after you pull out all those identities is ask chat to start combining them, right? So I'll show you how to do this in a second. But for the most part, when we start combining identities, you want to combine about 2 to 3, seems to be the sweet spot, where we are starting to take what used to be called angles, right? I don't know, like moms who knit, right? That's one specific identity, and match it with another. Maybe she likes humor, and that's a specific identity of hers. So moms who knit, who like humor. That's 2 different identities, and then merge them into one. Yes, Knit Talk, that's a whole thing. Knit Talk is like an entire community where there's lots of different people. Some of them are really funny. Some of them are really soft and gentle. Some of them just knit with no sound and no words, and it's amazing. So combining these identities are like just so incredibly powerful because everybody has a different identity that gets activated in different spots, right? So depending on who you're around or depending on what context you're in, your identities are going to get activated in different ways. To do that in ads, we do this. Research TAM, pull out your identities, combine them 2 to 3 at the most, I would say, and then build archetypes. Get it on a piece of paper so you can use it and reuse it again and again and again. So I'm going to show you how to do this. This is the first one I've seen. This one is actually an organic and an ad. They used it in 2 different places from the Ladder app. These guys were fascinating. I absolutely love every single thing they do in marketing, mostly because they're just funny. They just have like a great sense of humor. So they're actually targeting 3 different identities inside this one ad. They're going after a gym goer or somebody who wants to start a gym experience, a membership, right? The funny part is, though, they're actually going after someone who feels a lot of anxiety about that. And how can we tell that? It's mostly because of how they're displaying this message. They're actually, this story is about this like fairy who goes around and just tells people to quit. It's a Quitter's Day fairy. He's kind of capitalizing on the fact that people feel uncomfortable in the gym. So this entire ad is going after someone who has a lot of anxiety in the gym, wants to become kind of a gym rat, but also appreciates humor. There's 3 different identities that they're calling into play here. And this one in particular does well because, again, like we talked about, consumers engage with brands that really validate their current identity in fun ways, if they can. Even if it's not humorous, though, all people want to see is a mirror. Anytime you're doing ads, think real hard about what mirror are we actually putting up, because it's very possible that we're only trying to go after one identity when maybe 2 will work better or 3 will work better, right? So this one in particular, loved it, crushed it. I can't get it off a ladder. They're so fun. They just like scratch an itch in my brain. Okay, second one on here. So this one I actually saw on Twitter, which was talking about the fact that there were 2 different brands for meat, steak. Obviously, these are like Good Chop and Butcher Box, that were back to back. So this guy had it on his feed where for some reason Meta was serving him 2 different ads, 2 different brands back to back. And this actually happens more often than you would think. So if this is the case, if we've got competitors in the space that are coming in trying to take like a piece of what we want to take, the best thing you can do is try and angle your particular ad off of as many different identities as possible so that we can start to speak to a specific type of person who's in the right mindset to buy, right? So both of these are talking to the serious steak lover, right? But only one of them is talking to a serious steak lover who loves a good deal. And I don't know if you guys can see it, right? I personally, I put this up on my Twitter and I had lots of like really good contention with it. People were fighting in the comments. It was lovely. I love a good argument. So when I looked at this ad, the second one here, the Butcher Box one, is actually a little bit more complex to understand mentally because they've got like, I think they have like 5 or 6 different numbers in here. 436, 100%. They have a 0 on there. They have $100. They have free. There's so many things going on in that one that the brain is not going to be able to process it very quickly. However, Good Chop has this incredibly stable, very, very straightforward, easy to process deal, which is just free ribeyes for life. We'll give you as many as you want type of thing. So this particular ad for Good Chop is going after a serious steak lover who loves a good deal. So they're doing a great job really with working with the platforms as they already exist, right? Because the platforms are going to just continuously reward you with providing a good mirror. Like I said before, if you can resonate instantly with anybody's recognizable identity, you have a better chance of converting than anybody else. Okay. So last one here, the Rugged Adventure Dad. I absolutely love Dad Gang. I have watched them grow from like this infancy of a brand all the way up into the behemoth they are today. Shout out to them. They're fantastic. They're so good at what they do. They also like are very attuned. They're so aware of what their customers believe, who they are, the identities they adhere to. They're just so good at putting it out in ads. So this particular ad is going after, not surprisingly, the Rugged Adventure Dad, right? Somebody who appreciates the outdoors and has that kind of lifestyle, but it's also somebody who loves a good hat. This sounds funny, but I put this one in here on purpose. I think it's pretty important that sometimes we realize the needs and the identities that people have are sometimes just very kind of superficial. I know I love to talk about like super deep emotions all the time because that's just who Sarah is. However, sometimes you can find some very, very, what would you call them? Utilitarian needs, right? Utilitarian identities that you can match with other things. So the Rugged Adventure Dad who also loves a good hat, this is coming straight from like my experience with my dad. He had like 20 hats. I don't know why he had so many, but he had so many hats and they were all over the house and he loved to collect them. That was just like a part of his being. If anybody who has a hat dad, like put it in the comments, because if you had a hat dad, you had a hat dad. And this is an identity, right? The Rugged Adventure Dad who loves a good hat. Now this works because it's a niche community and they value those brands that celebrate not just their lifestyle, right, of being a dad and being like kind of adventure focused human, but also their habits. He's a hat collector. So they're combining 3 different identities into one ad and then making it an experience for this particular ad. Just, chef's kiss. I love it. I can't get rid of it. Okay. So for anybody who wants to do this for yourself, very easy. We can go over the steps again, or obviously you can come talk to me if you guys want to learn how to do this at kind of a deeper set to kind of get all of the identities out. But in general, first thing you should do, go research your audience identities. Take them out of your reviews. They're the easiest place to go get the identities. Put them into chat and just ask chat. Pull out any identities you see within our TAM. Here's our reviews. Do an analysis of this. Tell me what you see. Bring them all out and then combine them, right? Combine multiple identities into one ad. So you can also have chat do this. Just ask chat based upon the list that you just gave me. Combine 2 to 3 of these in different ways so that I can try and figure out how to make ads from them. And then once you have those, save them. Put them somewhere that you're going to find them again, or, stick them on your computer, wherever they're going to be. or give them to your internal creative team or your agency and say, here's what we're finding from our avatar research. And then here's the identities that we want you to go after. It's so much easier to draft ugly ads and beautiful ads, branded ads. It's so much easier to do volume or precision, if whatever system you want to use. So much easier if you know who you're trying to go after, what they want most, who they are identity-wise and what those identities need, and then how to say it. Right? As soon as you have all those things in place, it is so much easier to advertise. So that's it. Thanks for joining me. This was lovely. I had so much fun. If you want to follow me at Sarah Levinger, that's me.
Sarah, you always have the best energy. This is incredible.
Which is good. I'm sick today. I don't know if you guys can hear it. I'm like, I'm dying. Keep going.
No, everybody in the chat, like, just give it up for Sarah then, like, literally with a cold, delivering the heat, actionable next steps. I feel like people have their next steps. They're good to go. Sarah, you're the best. Thank you so much for coming through today. I really appreciate you.
It was great. You guys are the best. Thank you.
Thanks, y'all. Appreciate it. Everybody, we've made it to the end of the road. I can't believe it. 2 hours down, hundreds of new ideas to try. I think we just have to go start making some ads. Like,
It's time to ship more winning creative with Motion's creative analytics platform that helps you scale winners into unicorns and helps you figure out where your ads might need just a little more help. Join over 2,100 teams shipping winning ads with Motion like Fiori, True Classic, Hexclad, and more. Get a free VIP tour today and you can see how Motion can help your creative strategists and your media buyers speak the same language.